So I already did the ancestry DNA test, and I've also done 23andMe and a bunch of other DNA testing. So I'm on all the websites, but doing those tests is not going to help me in this specific situation that I'm trying to get information for. So I found my mom's birth side of the family when I was 18, and then I found my dad's birth side of the family a few years ago from doing the DNA test, which was amazing. But in that, both my parents, my mom had died when I was 3, which I already knew she had passed before I turned 18, and then my dad, I didn't know if he had passed or not. So by the time I found him, unfortunately, he passed in 2011, and I found his family, I want to say like 2016, 17, 18-ish. I don't remember exactly what year I found them. So that definitely would not be helping me in this situation. So quick story, I had no photos of me until I was adopted. So I got adopted when I was 5 years old, and all my pictures started from 5 years old up until now, how old I am now. So I had no idea what I looked like from birth to basically 5 years old. So when I found my mom's birth side of the family, they knew who I was. My grandfather at the time said he had a bunch of photos and things that he was going to give me, and whatever he had left of my mom's, any photos of me, her, whatever. Unfortunately, he wound up passing away within a few weeks of me meeting him before I even got to get all of this stuff, which is another whole freaking story, because by the time I found him, he was remarried to somebody else, and it wasn't my grandmother. Apparently his wife basically just like didn't like our side of the family, and so it was all about her and her children, because she had a few children when she married him, and my grandfather had a few children when he married her. And so it's like basically our family didn't exist, and he wasn't allowed to have anything around the house that was representing our side of the family. So he had his little workroom with everything in there, which is crazy to me. But he had some things he wanted to give me. I never got them. He passed away, and of course nobody's giving me any of these things. So it is what it is. Because of my mom's side, a few years later, when his mom passed away, my aunt, he was going through her stuff. So in her things, she had a photo album. So he was going through the photo album, and that's when he saw pictures of me, and he saw pictures of the girls from the extravaganza house. Again, at the time, we had no idea who they were, what the extravaganza was. Like, we didn't know anything. We just knew that it was a picture of me and these women in there. And so he just sent me the pictures and was like, hey, I don't know who these people are, but you know, these pictures were in my mom's photo album, so I'm giving them to you. Great. So this was years ago. So of course I posted on social media. Nobody knows who they are. So I just, leave it, let it be, even though it's been nagging the back of my head, like, who are these people? Because in this, I want to get my mom's story. I want to know what her life was like. I want to know, anything I can about her. And so my family hasn't really given me much information about her. But again, my mom left when she was 16 years old. She moved out of the house. She dropped out of high school, moved to New York City, and she was by herself on her own, like just living life. And so I don't know how she was even supporting herself, because this was back, I was born in 1979. So this was back in, the late 70s, early 80s. And I just have no idea how she was surviving, how she was paying for anything. Like, she literally had nobody in New York City. Anyways, at some point she met with Carmen Extravaganza, which is amazing, and Brooke, and I guess they invited her in. I don't know, but after like watching and learning about the extravaganzas and the transgender community, and watching Paris is Burning, and watching Pose, like, I'm seeing like this is a whole family community, and regardless whether you're trans or not, like, clearly, like, they invite you in to take care of you and to like have somewhere to live and to feed you. So like, I'm kind of piecing stuff together myself, because I don't have any answers to anything, because no one can tell me, and Carmen's not here anymore, and then Brooke is pretty much MIA, and she's changed her life, so I don't even know if I need any answers from her anyway. But in that, like, I just want to know, like, it's like hard to explain. It's like I hear stories here and there about my mom, but it's like I want to know who she was. Like, I want to know all about her. Like, I want to know. Again, I'm sorry. There's just so many things I want to know, because my mom's cousin and my aunt, which was her sister, they would at some point get in contact with her while she was in New York. I don't know how they got in contact with her, but I remember my mom's cousin saying that one time she took a train to New York, and she spent the day with my mom, and she was talking about my dad and how in love she was. And, at some point she was like a guardian angel in New York City. And I don't really know what the guardian angels were, but I think they like went out at night to like, not to fight crime, but to like, I think like get people off the street and like help them. I don't know, but it makes me wonder, is that how she met my dad? Like, I don't know, but when my mom and dad got together, they started using, and I don't know if my dad introduced that to her or if she introduced that to him. I don't know, but they were using a lot. And at some point she got pregnant with me, and she cleaned herself up and stopped using, which was amazing. I don't know if my dad did or not. And, after she had me, she was clean for a while. I mean, this is a story that I'm being told from my mom's side of the family. After she had me, she was clean for a while and was doing really great. And then at some point, she slipped down that path again and started using again. The state found out. They came, took me away, put her in rehab. And in that time that she was in rehab, she wound up passing away. And I was already gone into the system, long gone away. So I don't know. I just wanted to find out, like, whoever was around my mom, like, any stories, good or bad, like, I don't care. Because the more that I learned, the more I realized, like, we had so much in common, meaning, she had a big heart, and she loved helping the community. And like, I have a huge volunteer heart, always wanting to help the homeless and, foster kids, obviously, because I grew up in the foster system. And like, I'm always like wanting to be a caretaker and just help as much as I can. And I'm like, I don't know where I get that from, because I clearly don't get that from my adopted family, because that was a horrible experience for me growing up. And I don't know. And so like, even when I met my dad's side of the family, and they were talking about my dad, like his uncle, and whatever distant relatives they were that I found, they were just like, he used to play the guitar. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I have no music talent, but my son is amazing. He plays the guitar, he plays the drums, he plays the bass, he plays the piano, like, and he's not great at reading music, he's still learning that, but when he hears a sound, like, he can play it, which to me is like a huge talent. So I'm just like, you clearly get that from my dad's side. He also gets that from his dad's side too, because his dad's side also is musically inclined. but it's just cool to learn these things, like what's nature versus nurture. And I just want to learn more about my family. And so in that too, when I met my dad's side, they had a photo album. They were like, your dad came and visited us one time with you, and we took a picture, and they showed me the picture, and it wasn't me. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, this looks like my son-ish, kind of, when he was little, and the lady holding him kind of looks like my mom, but that's not my mom and that's not me. And so I turned the picture over, and it had my brother's name on it, and he was born 2 years before me, and clearly my dad had it typed because his mom kind of looked like my mom, but that just tells me she might have also been an addict. Her son might have gotten taken away, he might have gotten a whole new name and it got adopted out like I did, because my name now is not the name I was born with. And so he doesn't even know about me because I just found out about him, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't know, you know, Ancestry DNA has been amazing though, because it did help me to find my dad's side. I'm praying that one day my brother just does a test out of curiosity, or one of his children, if he had kids, buys it for him as a gift, and then we kind of connect. I don't know any other way that I'll find him. I will say all the DNA testing sites have been amazing for adoptees, because it has helped me help my adopted siblings find all their family, and it has helped me to help strangers find their birth family through DNA. And I'll always be grateful for the DNA testing sites. I know a lot of people are like anti-DNA, but it's very helpful for adoptees.